and then get familiar with whatever tone sounds like in comparison to that E. What happens if I do play? And what I create when playing that note, it doesn't matter to me, I don't have to know what the name of the tone is on the fretboard, or what it's in comparison to the scale, but what I can feel, without knowing the theory, is that this has to lead somewhere. Letting it like this is kind of like we wouldn't feel fulfilled having the note staying there. We want to have it resolved. We want to have the note go back home. And to me that's always fun, just like what I also hear. So I'm just going and listening to my inner voice. Maybe before resolving it goes up. Then what happens if I play the third? It gives me that happy mode. What happens if I play the fourth? Again, I'm building tension. For me, that's what music is. We want to work on creating tension. We want to create emotion. What happens if I go to the fifth? I can leave that there. What happens if I go to the next one? It's one of my favorite notes to play, the major 6, when we're in a major key. Now what I can do is I can start, because what does the major 6 do? It does build a little bit of tension. You can leave it, but it wants to go somewhere. And then if I hit the next one, the major 7, there's more tension. It needs to go somewhere. I wouldn't leave a concert playing this. Just imagine me finishing the show with this. You wouldn't be happy. So I think that's a really nice thing to just play around with. See what happens. And then I can go even further and say, okay, I know I'm in a happy place. I want to make it even happier, but get like a little mystical thing into it. Then we have a Lydian sound, which is like the high fourth. Interesting. What if I have the high fourth, the raised fourth, the sharp fourth, and what if I do not have the major third, but instead, what happens then? That it will not sound heavy anymore, and it's not, the position of the note is not the raised fourth anymore, but it's the lowered fifth. So that changes everything. So you can see with two notes, you always have the same bass note, but changing the intervals can change the whole mood. And so that is something, as said, you can only be in E all the time. You don't need a backing track or anything. It makes more sense with a backing track, so you can of course make sure to put that on and play around. And seriously, it is all you need, just seeing what every note sounds in comparison to your bass note, to your harmony, and see what happens if you exchanges. And what I also encourage everyone, like, don't give anything about theory when it comes to being creative, because being creative shouldn't be limited. There shouldn't be any rules for creativity, Because if we would all apply the rules and stick to theory, everything would sound the same. So it is really important, just go whatever you feel, even if it sounds weird. If that's what you're looking for, it's perfectly fine. And for me, that's whenever I write music, I don't care about harmony. I don't care about anything. I really just listen to the inner voice. Of course, sometimes I try to work with certain formulas where I think, but I'll actually talk to more about that in a bit. And so yeah, work with that. And I have a song, for example, that's called Devil on the Rise, which is only... And we have a big solo section with that song. We're gonna play it tonight, so you will see. And for me, when improvising over that one, I want to be as musical and I want it to sound dark. So what do I know if I want to do a solo and have it sound dark? I will make sure to use a note like this. So putting that in the context of the music is what will work. And I don't even have to know what the scale is, what the name of the scale is, if it even is a scale. I just know, I can know what notes to reach for, to aim a certain, to get a certain feeling across for you guys. Diminished, arpeggio or scale, whatever, is always gonna work. Or then I can say, okay, I'm not gonna do this right now, but maybe I will go for the blue scale and make sure to have the flat 5, the devil's in. So that is something I would recommend you. Just take whatever bass note you can. If you're by yourself, if you don't have a backing track, it is of course the easiest way to go with the open E string, or you can also aim for A and then go and see what that does. And another thing that you can do is, for example, also to find out what a certain note sounds like and what a certain note brings across. What if I change the bass note? We've been in E, and we have this as our root note, and what happens if I go to the A? Then I know it's a note I can leave. If I'm on my E bass note and I go again up to this note, what happens if I change the bass note to A? And then just fool around with that. And while we're on the topic of improvising, there's so many things, so many small things that can make a big difference. And one is dynamic playing. Do you consider, like I think a lot of the times we're all involved in trying to be fast and maybe trying to look cool while playing, but they're like the small things. And that was a lesson for me, because when I started playing guitar and I was practicing all the crazy stuff, that was all I was doing when performing. That's cool for a few seconds, and it's always cool to show off, but in the end there's more to it. We want to be musical, and I think dynamic playing makes such a big difference. If I hit a note like this, aggressive on the instrument. it makes a whole difference. It's like when I'm talking to you and I would be always, I don't think I can even do it, like talking in a linear way. That's not possible. When we talk, we use dynamics, we use breaks, we talk in a certain rhythm. And I think that's something to have in the back of your mind when you're playing guitar.